Welcome to Evidence-Based Practice and Scholarship in Nursing. My name is Dr. Leodor Labrage. You can call me Dr. Leo, you can call me Mr. Leo, and I will be your faculty for this course. I'm truly excited to work with each of you this semester. Now, as master's students, you are stepping into advanced roles where your ability to evaluate evidence, think critically, and apply research to your specific practice will make a meaningful impact on patient care and healthcare outcomes. This course is designed to support you in building those essential skills and strengthening your confidence in using evidence to guide your decisions. I look forward to learning with you, hearing your perspective, and of course supporting your growth throughout this semester. Now, this course is a 3-credit course, which is going to be delivered over 8 weeks. Now, because of the accelerated format, the course will move at a steady pace, and it's important that you stay engaged and keep up with your weekly expectation. Now, in this particular course, each week is designed to build on the previous one. And this will help you progressively develop your knowledge and skills in evidence-based practice and scholarship. Now let's take a moment to look at the overall objective of this course. Now, this course is designed to prepare you to thoughtfully challenge current practices or procedures and even policies in nursing by seeking and applying the best available evidence. Now, throughout the semester, you will learn how to translate research into practice and as well as identify gaps in knowledge that impact patient care. In this course, you will develop key skills such as locating current evidence, critically appraising peer-reviewed studies, and synthesizing that evidence to formulate meaningful recommendations for practice. By the end of this course, you will be better equipped to make informed evidence-based decisions that contribute to improving healthcare outcomes. Now let's review the learning objectives of this course. Now, by the end of the course, students will be able to advocate for ethical conduct of research and translation of scholarship into practice, which is very essential in ensuring integrity and accountability in nursing. And the second one is that you will also learn to apply evidence-based practice by formulating PICO question, conducting a literature search. You're going to synthesize evidence, and of course, you're going to apply guidelines to improve practice. Now, in addition, you're also going to perform critical appraisal of articles or studies using scholarly databases to generate strong evidence for nursing practice in the care environment. And finally, you will synthesize evidence from multiple perspectives to improve practice and enhance patient and system level outcomes. Now, these objectives are designed to build your confidence and competence as a master's prepared nurse who can lead with evidence and make meaningful impact in healthcare and nursing. So in this course, we will be using mainly the book of Melnick and Feinout Overhaul 2022. This is the 5th edition evidence-based practice nursing and healthcare. And most of your work will adhere to EPA format. That's why I'm also suggesting you to access the publication manual of the American Psychological Association. The good thing is that this resource is available online. In addition to this, I'm also suggesting you to have an access to the user's guide to the medical literature, a manual for evidence-based clinical practice by Guyat et al. 2015. Now let's talk about the different assessment and evaluation component. In our course, you're going to have 5 online discussion forums, and each of these discussion forums is equivalent to 5%. In addition to 4 online discussion forums, you're going to submit as well 2 mini papers. One related to practice analysis, and the second one is related to evidence-based search appraisal and synthesis. And of course, in addition to online discussion and mini papers, other assessment and evaluation component of this course include evidence-based practice paper, and this is going to be group assignment. And of course, in addition to coming up with an EBP paper, you're going to present that in a form of poster, and that is going to be 20%. And of course, individually at the end of this course, you're supposed to complete a final reflection paper, which is worth 10%. And the next few slides, I'm going to discuss in detail these different assessment and evaluation components. Now, as you navigate the course, I want you to pay attention to the course schedule or course calendar. This will be your primary guide each week. In the schedule on the slides, you will find the weekly topics, of course the dates, as well as the assigned readings for that particular week or weeks, and the learning objectives, as well as the different assignments and due dates. I want you to review this document carefully and stay on track, as it will help you manage your time and stay successful in this course. Now, 20% of your grade will come from discussion forums. As mentioned earlier, there would be 4 discussion forums in this semester. These discussion forum activities are designed to promote critical thinking, scholarly discussion, and application of core concepts. Now in here, you will engage either individually or in groups, depending on the discussion, to reflect on practice problems, develop pick-up questions, appraise and synthesize evidence, and develop implementation plan. In addition to your initial posts, each student is required to reply or respond to at least 2 classmates' posts with a thoughtful scholarly response of at least 150 words. Now, through your responses or feedback, you will serve as a peer reviewer, in which you're going to provide constructive and scholarly feedback that helps your classmates strengthen their work. Now, each discussion forum has a dedicated rubric, so please review it carefully before posting. Now, this rubric will also guide the quality of your post and to ensure that you meet all the expectations for scholarly engagement. Now, there are 4 discussion forums in this course, as mentioned earlier, and you will notice that some are individual and some are group-based. Students are pre-assigned to groups to facilitate collaboration, and later on I'm going to show you your group assignment. Now, for online discussion forum 1, this is going to be individual. In this particular discussion forum, you are going to analyze ethical considerations in a selected research study. In here, you're going to critique the abstract and provide individual peer feedback. Now, the focus of discussion forum 1 is on ethics, human subjects protection, and submission of a scholarly EPA formatted discussion. Discussion forum 2 is going to be a group post, but it should be an individual feedback. In your group, you will review individual practice problems, select one shared problem, and develop a PICO question. Each student will provide one peer response to another's group's PICO, evaluate its clarity, feasibility, and searchability. The third discussion forum is going to be a group post again, plus individual feedback. In here, your group will synthesize evidence from individual research appraisals, summarize it in a table, and provide a narrative synthesis, addressing the quality, alignment, and gaps in the literature. The fourth discussion forum is also going to be a group post and individual feedback. In here, Groups will develop a comprehensive implementation plan based on feasibility, barriers and facilitators, and alignment with evidence-based practice. Now, I want you to pay close attention to whether the discussion forum is individual or group-based, and I want you to follow the instructions accordingly. Now, all discussions forum are designed to help you practice critical appraisal, collaboration, and translating evidence into practice. Now, for a much more extensive details and information about the ABP discussion forum, I want you to review the discussion forum tabs in your Canvas. Now, let's talk about the rubric that I'm going to use to evaluate the discussion forum. Now, each discussion forum has its own grading rubric. It has specific requirements. Some forums require individual participation and some require group collaboration and some require both. And again, just before starting posting in the discussion forum section, make sure to review the rubric for each discussion forum. Now let's review the individual assignment for this course. As previously mentioned, you're going to complete or submit 2 mini assignment paper. Now, these assignments are designed to give you opportunities to apply research and evidence-based practice skills in focused practical tasks. Now, through these assignments, you will identify practice problem. You will reflect on your clinical context. And the second one is that you're going to critically appraise research studies. Now, these are foundational skills to prepare you for group projects and subsequent discussion forum. Now, the first mini assignment is about questioning tradition, and the title of this assignment is the Sacred Cow Evidence-Based Practice Analysis, which is going to be 10%. In this individual assignment, you will identify a practice problem within your clinical organizational setting and reflect on its significance. In this particular mini assignment, you will also explore how this problem could be refined into a PICO question for evidence-based practice. Now, this is very important. Your mini assignment paper 1 should be completed or submitted before proceeding to discussion forum 2. This is a requirement. Now, the second mini assignment paper is called Evidence-Based Search, Appraisal, and Synthesis, and it's going to be 10%. For this mini assignment, you will conduct individually a focused literature search, appraise 2 research articles using the Milnick and Find Out Overhauled appraisal tools, and you are going to summarize your findings in an EPA formatted submission. This is very important. Your mini assignment paper number 2 should be completed or submitted before proceeding to discussion forum 3. Now let's talk about your EBP group project, which is going to be 30%. Now take note, this is a group assignment completed in the same groups used throughout the course. Now for this specific assignment, your group will integrate all steps of the evidence-based practice process into one comprehensive paper. This includes problem identification, PICO question, evidence synthesis, proposed intervention, implementation plan, and evaluation strategy. Now, it is important to note that this project or paper is built upon your previous group work throughout the course. Remember, during your discussion forum 2 and 3 and 4, PICO development, article appraisal, as well as implementation plan. In this particular assignment, you are expected to refine, expand, and integrate all of these components into one cohesive, well-developed final paper. Now, it is important for you to take note of the different feedback and suggestions provided by your peers and reviewers in the earlier submission. And if you think that their comments and suggestions during the discussion forums are relevant, you should thoughtfully incorporate those comments into your final paper. Now, as you work on this assignment, I highly advise you to follow the required structure closely. And for more detailed explanation of the different sections, I encourage you to visit the Canvas assignment page, where you can exactly see additional guidance, expectation, and of course, grading criteria. Now, for additional guidelines, I have also uploaded in Canvas an assignment template to help guide you in organizing your paper, and please make sure to use it as your resource.
Now these are the suggested section of your EBP paper. You start with introduction and background. Here you're going to identify a significant clinical or organizational practice problem and its relevance to patient outcomes, safety, quality, or cost. The next section is your PICO clinical question. Here you're going to present your clear and well-formatted PICO question that aligns with your identified practice problem. The next section would be your search strategy. Here you need to describe the databases you search, the inclusion and exclusion criteria applied, and the different keywords or search words that you have used in searching the articles. The fourth part of this paper is your critical appraisal. And here, you need to critically appraise each selected study using appropriate tools, for quantitative or systematic review design. In here, the purpose of this section is really to demonstrate your ability to assess the validity, the reliability, and the overall strength of the evidence, and make sure to have a summary of evidence as part of your appendix. The next section is about evidence synthesis. This section will summarize the evidence collectively. And in here, you're going to identify patterns. You're going to identify consistencies. You're going to identify if there are existing contradictions or gaps in the literature. Of course, the next section talks about your proposed EPP intervention. Here, students will propose an evidence-supported practice change, and of course, you need to explain how the recommendation is linked to your appraisal findings. The next section is implementation plan. Using EBP and implementation model, for example, the Iowa model or the Johns Hopkins evidence-based practice model, you need to outline the steps for implementing the proposed practice change. In here, you need to include this stakeholder engagement, you need to assess organizational readiness, possible resources that you might need, strategies, timeline, and you need to present and describe what are the potential barriers and facilitators. The next section is the evaluation plan. Here, you need to describe the proposed outcome measures. This may include the economic implication of your proposed EBP implementation. This section also provides the description of data collection strategies and the benchmark for success to evaluate the effectiveness of the intervention. The next part would be your conclusion. So basically in here, you need to highlight the expected impact of your proposed practice change and its implication for advanced practice nursing. Of course, the reference section should be provided using the 7th edition EPA format, and part of your appendix, most importantly, would be the summary table of articles reviewed. Now let's talk about the rubric for your EBP project. Now, on the slides, you will see the rubric that I'm going to use to evaluate your work. And take note of the different criteria for evaluation, and you would notice that these criteria are well aligned with the different suggested sections that I have discussed earlier. And please make sure to review the different description of each criteria. And before you start working on your EBP project, I want you to review this one to guide you as you work on your project.
Now let's talk about the EBP poster presentation. And this is going to be 20%. And the purpose of this assignment is for students to demonstrate dissemination skills by translating their EBP group project into a professional poster. Now, the poster should communicate the project findings in a clear, visually engaging way suitable for presentation at a conference, organizational meeting, or professional setting. Now, this specific coursework is a group assignment completed by the same groups used for the EBP paper. And as an additional requirement, your poster should be 36 by 48 in size, and it is created using PowerPoint or the Canva templates. In addition to that, your poster will be submitted during the last session that's going to be in the 8 weeks, alongside with a pre-recorded video explaining your poster. Now let's talk about the EBP poster format. I know that some of you have already an experience presenting a poster in a research conference. Nonetheless, in this particular course, these are the suggested content of your poster. Title, authors, the background and significance, which means your poster should clearly present briefly the background and significance and the relevance of your work. The PICO question, search strategy, you need to include what are the database and the keywords, or if there are inclusion and exclusion criteria included. Summary of evidence, and of course the synthesis of evidence should be there. Proposed EBP change, implementation plan, evaluation plan, implication for practice, and of course the reference section. Now, as mentioned earlier, aside from the poster that you're going to submit, you need to do a pre-recording explaining your poster. And the pre-recording should be at least 8 to 10 minutes. And this is very important. Each of your team members must be speaking in this pre-recorded video. And this pre-recorded video should be uploaded as part of your submission. Now, this is an example of a poster of an evidence-based project. So your poster might probably look like this. But again, I want you to consider the suggested sections in the previous slides. So how am I going to evaluate your poster? Now on the slides right now, you will see the rubric that I'm going to use for the poster presentation. And I want you to take note of the different criteria in evaluation. You would notice that the different criteria are aligned with the suggested headings. Of course, in addition to that, there are additional criteria such as, for example, visual design and professionalism. That's going to be 10%. And of course, presentation and communication, and it's going to be 10%. And it refers to the recordings that you're going to make once your poster is created. And finally, 10% of your overall score will come from your final reflection paper. This course component provides students with an opportunity to reflect on their growth as emerging nurse leaders. In here, you're going to evaluate how your learning and evidence-based practice has strengthened your skills and readiness to integrate evidence into decision-making, influence outcomes, and of course, lead evidence-based change within professional roles. And there are only 3 criteria that I'm going to use to evaluate your final reflection paper. Of course, the first one is reflection on EBP learning and application to future practice. That means in this paper, you need to provide a deep, thoughtful reflection and growth in EBP knowledge, skills, and competence. And of course, you need to clearly explain how evidence-based practice will be integrated into your future nursing or leadership role. And the second criteria is self-assessment and evidence-informed thinking. And here, you are expected to provide honest, insightful self-assessment of your strengths, challenges, and areas for continued growth. Finally, organization and professional writing and EPA formatting, which refers to clear, well-organized, professional, and reflective paper. And in this document still, I am expecting that you are going to use the EPA 7th edition formatting if necessary. Now let's try to explore the different sections of your Canvas sites. When you hit your Canvas site, this is exactly what you're going to see, the home screen, where you can see right away the different modules. And I highly advise you to explore the different sections of your Canvas sites. One area that I want you to pay attention is the simple syllabus. So basically, this section contains the course syllabus. It contains the course description, the learning objectives, assessment and evaluation, and other important information about the course. Another important section of your Canvas site is the assignment tab. When you open the assignment tab, you will exactly see what are the different coursework. We're talking about assessment and evaluation. In this particular course, you will see that we have 4 discussion forums, 2 mini paper assignments, we have EBP group, we have EBP poster presentation, and we also have the final reflection paper. Now let's talk about the modules. Now when you hit the module tab, this is exactly what you're going to see. All modules have different outlines, starts with the title, and of course it will provide you an overview about that module. And then after that, you will see what are the different learning outcomes for that particular module, the required readings. And in addition to the required readings, I've also provided additional resources that you might probably be using in this course. And of course, the lowest part of your module, you will see what are the different tasks or assignment that should be completed or submitted. So this is how the discussion forum will look like. Now this is an example of the discussion forum in this course, EBP discussion forum number 1. The upper portion of your discussion forum provides the description and the purpose of the discussion forum activity. And after that, you will see a much more detailed description of the instructions and how are you going to accomplish this activity. In the lower part of the discussion forum, you will see a highlighted sentence that is a note, which indicates when is the initial post is due and when is the peer scholarly feedback should be provided. Now this is an example of your assignment in this course, mini paper assignment number 1. Now when you hit your mini paper assignment 1, this is exactly what you're going to see. The title of the assignment or activity and a very brief overview about the activity and the purpose, as well as the complete instructions on how to accomplish these assignments. Now, if you're going to hit the 3 buttons on the upper side of Canvas, you will see the rubric for this specific assignment. Now take note, for all discussion forums and mini assignment as well as major papers, there are designated rubrics for them. And before you start working with any of your coursework, I want you to read and review the rubrics. Now another section of your Canvas site is people or groups. When you hit people, you will see your group assignment. And take note, in this particular course, students are allocated into several groups, and this will be your groups for group discussion forums, as well as EBP group project and EBP poster presentation. As early as now, I want you to communicate with your groupmates because you're going to work alongside with them all throughout the course. Now that brings us to the end of our video orientation. If you have any questions or need support at any point during this semester, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm always here to help. I'll be working alongside you throughout this course to support your learning and growth. On the screen, you will see my room number. If you wanted to personally communicate with me or talk to me, or alternatively, if you wanted to communicate through email, I have provided my email address on the screen. I'm really looking forward to getting to know each of you and seeing all that you accomplish this semester. Together, let's make it a great experience together. Thank you so much.